Hey everybody, it's Mike from Monkey Fab. Just checking in. I keep saying this, but I don't really know where I left off last time. I've been kind of pulled so many different ways. The car is running. It was giving me trouble with water, and the water pump, it was bad. So I pulled that out and whatever. When I made this fancy dancy aluminum bullshit, I made it higher than the radiator, and I know that generally that's a no-no, but I have this fancy snap-on tool that it pulls a vacuum and sucks all the air out of the system, and I was hoping that would overcome, the little spot that's above the radiator. But it didn't. So what I did is I just marked this guy out, and you see right here is where the high spot is. I'm just gonna weld in another bung and put a petcock on there, so I can just pop that, use that to bleed the water, the air out of the system, and just use a funnel. The only other choice was really to kind of cut this thing up and snake it down, and the fan makes it kind of difficult, the way it sticks out, the way everything's kind of arranged in the front makes it kind of difficult. I think that, you see that meme on, what is it, Facebook, it's what is an asshole? It's a person that asks a question and does the complete opposite different thing. I think probably the easiest thing to do would have been to figure out how to get a radiator with the return and the feed on the same side, and I wouldn't have this whole massive, thing on there anyway. But I didn't have an easy solution for that, and as opposed to going and searching, a bunch of different radiators to try to figure out what would fit, I figured, hey, I can weld and fabricate, I'll just make it. And that's where it's at. I mean, I'm making it work, which it's not my favorite way of doing business. I'd rather it work well. It's kind of what I aim for. And if it wasn't my project, it would, I would make this much more complicated to get it fixed, or just order a radiator core and weld my own shit and make it so there's probably, a couple different passes, and have the return and the feed on the same side, and that would be good. So that was one deal, and I'm just getting ready to address that, and actually I was halfway through it, and I thought, hey, why not pop open the video camera and get some video of it, and so that's why we're here. So the other thing we did was we threw the heat wrap on the downpipe, and you see some of the spark plug wires come kind of close to this charge pipe, up pipe, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's still hot. This thing's still hot as fuck when it runs. I did cycle it, and I was able to top it off pretty much to the top with water, and I was able to run it through a cycle to make sure that the thermostat was opening up and it was doing its job, and everything seems to be going pretty well. I might have to change the sensor that I have in it for a higher temperature sensor, because the fan kicks on kind of low and doesn't want to kick off. And I put like a low, I think a 170 to 160 in there, and it might be just too low for how we got it set up. I might need a 180 kick on, 170 kick off, and that might keep it from just the fan constantly running. I don't know that it makes a big difference or not. However, this guy it's kicking out a shit ton of heat. The spark plugs are close to it, and eventually it's going to kill the spark plugs, or the spark plug wires, or and it's Houston. It's ridiculously hot in the summertime, and I don't need any of this extra heat in the bay. So I'm gonna probably get a turbo blanket, and I ordered some more heat wrap and some of that fancy aluminum stuff that I put on Dai's car to really wrap this full pipe, this up pipe off, wrap it up completely. And then I think I probably will get away with using stock plugs. I've got that one in the very back. You can see that one plug kind of run whoop down that way, and it's those fucking MSD, do-it-yourself wires. The ends never want to come off right, and it's even after, you know, hooking that up, it's still missing. So I suppose I didn't do it well, or whatever the case might be, but I'm down a cylinder. You can hear it just not firing and spitting out tons of gas into the air. The good thing is now we found that vacuum leak and clean that up. It sure does seem to be a lot more responsive and sound a whole lot better if I get rid of that one drop cylinder due to the spark plug not firing. And wrap that up. I think we'll be close. I talked to my 90. My 90, come in, focus. My 93 Volvo was due for inspection and registration like the end of this month. So I took it in, and it's 25 years old now, and that's like the magic number here in Texas, is if your car's 25 and you don't have to, there's no smog check, there's no throwing it on, if it's newer than 25 years, then you have to put on in my county anyway, you have to put it on they throw it on a chassis dyno, they run through some revs, and they check the emissions on it, and it has to pass, and they, if it's got an OBD2 port, they plug it in and, you know, check to make sure there's no check engine stuff and whatever wrong. 25 years and after, then life becomes a little bit easier. So I talked to the guy while I was there, because I was like, yeah, I'm pretty close to having this project wrapped up, and I just told him, hey, the old engine blew up, and I put a new engine in it, and what do I have to do? And he was like, just the lights need to work, the horn has to work, the windshield wipers need to work, and the brakes need to work. So I can do that. We can manage that. We can get that past inspection, I'm pretty sure. So that'll be exciting. I'm not in a rush really to get it down there and get it registered. I think I definitely, want to sort out the gauge cluster, and I still got to fuck around with the exhaust system. The gauge cluster, a bit intimidating. The exhaust system, not really that big of a deal. I hope I have enough bends and stuff that I don't have to order stuff. But it's not, that's kind of that's my briar patch. That's where I'm nice and comfortable at, so that's not an issue. But yeah, so I guess if you want to follow along, we'll put this bung on here. We'll do some welding. We went ahead and preheated this guy, not because it necessarily needs to be preheated because of heat or thickness or anything, but we've already ran coolant through this thing a few times, and I don't want that burning off when I'm trying to weld, and it's probably going to anyway, but I'd like to limit that, so when I'm welding I don't have to fight with a bunch of water vapor or oxygen and crap getting in my weld puddle. So I heated it up till it seemed like pretty much everything was kind of stopped smoking out of it, and there we go. So I think we'll So on the little guy here, I just kind of put a cut in it to leave it, so hopefully everything will come up. All the air will want to come up and out. not to, I wanted it to. I need some aluminum magnets to hold everything in place. It's hot. It's hot. So we got that bung right on there and kind of set it so it's kind of up on the pipe, and hopefully that'll be our high spot and we can put the Alright, we are all hooked back in, snug down, and if everything goes right, what should happen is that when I open the petcock, it should bleed out the air, and then we'll be happy. That's good. That's good. Thanks, guys. Good. And stay. That was good. That was a good sign. There was a hiss of air rushing out, and we're golden. There we go. So. Good. Good.